what they can't teach you is to be smart. They can't teach you to be candid and honest and transparent, which speaks to the authenticity. And they absolutely, and Lord knows I've tried, you cannot teach passion. How do you bridge what I do on a daily basis with what you guys are facing right now in terms of trying to pitch for an earlier stage? So our business helps public companies raise capital, close a major transaction, or get out of trouble, if you will. And we work with companies with market capitalizations as low as 1 million and as high as 100 billion in the shop. So what about what I do for a living is applicable over here? And so I thought about it for a couple of days and went back to work, and then it struck me. And it's something that kind of sits across everything in business. And in varying degrees, when a company is going to go public, it's got a pitch deck, it's got a great story. When a company is going to go raise debt or raise additional capital, they go out and they do a roadshow and they speak to people, right? When it's got financials being released, whether it's Bell Canada at a massive capitalization or a small venture capital company, they're doing their job and they're building their pitch and all that kind of stuff. And the line that we're always looking for in every single management report, in every single analyst report, in the conversation that I'll have with a senior investor from an institutional banker, or what have you, in the hallways after any conversation is confidence in management. And it's at the end of the day such a powerful differentiator. Pretty much every one of you in the room, if you're going to feel confident enough to get up and go and meet someone who's going to try and rip your case apart, you've got a really good product, or you believe you do, right? You know you've got a great addressable market opportunity, right? So the market's well sized, et cetera. But so does the person that's coming in right after you, and likely another person sitting beside you here right now. And probably in a week from now, he's going to wait a little bit because there's probably 2 other guys that he really wants to meet that also have a great story. So what sets you apart, right? What is the thing that's going to tip the balance when all things are equal towards your deal versus somebody else's deal? And that comes down to, do they have confidence that you're going to actually do all the stuff that you just promised that you're going to do? So how do you build that confidence? And the reason I don't have a PowerPoint is it's going to be different for everybody. Right? But having done this for about 20 years in public companies, having helped CEOs try and reshape massive businesses, et cetera, there's a few things that come up time and time and time again. And frankly, at this stage, when I'm coaching, whether it's a chairman of a board or a CEO, I bring it up. And frankly, I talk about it with my nephew when he's going for a job interview. Right? So these are sort of the 3 things that we try and ingrain into the presentation. It's not about the content. But it's really about how the person earns that level of confidence. The first thing, are you really knowledgeable? And knowledgeable doesn't mean do you understand your business and do you understand the market that you're going after. Knowledgeable means, can I throw questions at you and you're going to have thought about it? Are you well-rounded in terms of you know the adjacencies? Do you know who's the disruptor in the marketplace and who's the challenger? Have you done not only a little bit of homework, but piles of homework, not just for the meeting, but in terms of building out your business? And that's kind of like the table stakes. But the second one, which is really hard to sort of put your finger on, is, and when you're sitting in front of, whether it's 2 people, or in the case of a meeting that we had the other day, 15,000 people, are you being authentic in the way you're presenting that? Now that's a tricky word. Right? And we've done a ton of research within our firm as well in trying to identify what we mean by authenticity. But here's kind of the core of it. It's, are you telling me a story? Are you building a product? Are you making a promise that comes from somewhere real? Right? Or are you just chasing something? Are you chasing the latest trend? Or are you chasing the latest opportunity? Are you doing something for reason A, but you're only telling me that it's for reason B? Are you trying to exit the business as fast as possible, or are you trying to build it? That concept of authenticity counters the person in front of you who by nature is going to be somewhat cynical about what you're saying, or somewhat skeptical about what you're saying. And we see it in society every day, Donald Trump aside. The authenticity factor is incredibly important. So if you're standing there, or if I'm standing here and I'm talking to you about building confidence in management, I'm talking about something that I do every single day, right? So when you're sitting there and you're talking about, we're going to sell this product. Well, if you're an engineer, why is it credible to talk about how you're going to be also the head of sales, right? Or if you are the head of sales, how is it that you understand the disruptive technologies that are taking place in the background? And that level of authenticity, that level of honesty, whether you're delivering good news or bad news, by the way, it's like the secret sauce of pretty much any conversation I've ever seen take place between a company and its investors across the entire spectrum of what's going on. And the third one, you can deliver good news and it fails, and you can deliver bad news and it actually succeeds. And the difference between the two things is the passion with which you're delivering it. And passion doesn't mean that you're excited by it, but passion really means that you believe that what you're talking about is true, right? You believe that what you're talking about is real, and that you believe that your capability and the capability of your team and the capability of your product is real. And if you can demonstrate that with a certain amount of purpose and confidence, then the package starts to form in front of the person that you're speaking to. I've seen CEOs try to raise $1 billion with a perfect business case and fail because the investor at the end of the day says, I don't know if this guy is in the game for the right reason, right? Or I don't know exactly what they were telling me made perfect sense. And it wasn't that it wasn't fully locked down, it's that executive didn't show the level of thinking and thoughtfulness, that's the sort of the knowledge concept, didn't demonstrate a level of authenticity in terms of the way he was speaking about it. That could be whether or not they're respecting the person in front of them and their time or what have you, but it really comes down to, were they being honest and candid, not only about the product, but its motivation. And ultimately, there wasn't any passion that made us believe or made the investor believe or made the audience believe that what they were doing for the right reasons and they were going to do it all the way. Because if someone's going to invest in you, they need to know that you've got staying power, right? They need to know that you have real belief in what you're doing, because they'll coach you on the how. And I've got tons of people that work for me. I can teach people how to do things. And frankly, you want an investor that can teach you how, because they've done it before. But what they can't teach you is to be smart. They can't teach you to be candid and honest and transparent, which speaks to the authenticity. And they absolutely, and Lord knows I've tried, you cannot teach passion. And when those things are in the individual, and you combine that with great pitches, every single one of you, we could sit down and help you build outstanding pitches. But if you've also got those three things, every single time you will stand out from the crowd. And when all things are equal in the room, if you can deliver that, and if you can make the person in front of you have, and I'll go back to that word, confidence, that what you're saying is backed by thinking and by an honest place and by a lot of passion with which you're going to get it done, that level of confidence is even more important than some of the financials. I mean, without the financials, you're not even having the conversation, but in the final analysis is the most important thing. Think about it. If you don't believe me, for any of you who've ever been in a job interview, either giving the interview or taking the interview, think about what it ultimately comes down to, right? There'll be 3 candidates at the table. They will all have the skills, otherwise they wouldn't make it to round 2. They will all have the track record. They all could probably get the job done. The person that you hire at the end of the day, and frankly, the company that you want to work for at the end of the day as well, if you're a candidate with a lot of demand, but the person that you hire is the person that you just feel, and that's how we talk about it, right? We feel that that person will be a better fit. What we really mean is that that person comes to the table with a level of knowledge, authenticity, and passion that we want in our shop. It's exactly the same thing in terms of asking for money. It's exactly the same thing when you're delivering good or bad news. It's exactly the same thing when you were 16 and you asked your dad for the keys for the first time. They have confidence that you've thought it through and that you're being honest with what you're going to do, and that you really want to prove that you deserve it. So that's basically the most powerful communications tool in 20 years of doing communications that I've ever seen. And if you can walk away from the room and have someone say, aside from all the math that he's doing and all the calculations that he's doing and all the science that he's bringing to the table, turn to his partner and say, I think that they can pull this off, then you're already way ahead of the person to whom he says, everything looks good, I'm just not sure if they've got it in them. And it comes across as gut, but there is some rationale to it, and there is some methodology to getting out there and earning the confidence.